So you want to be a major league manager. Well, nobody feels it more than the manager when a team is off to a slow start. So what's Terry Collins to do? Cajole, tell a joke, be supportive, maybe even try and psych out the opposition. Anything to get his team going in the right direction. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Houston Astros. Mets baseball is presented in HD by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith Hernandez joins me in just a moment. The Mets played the middle game of their three-game series with the Houston Astros. Houston won last night, and the Mets have now dropped 8 of their last 9 games. And more bad news today. Bobby Parnell is going to be placed on the disabled list tomorrow. He's got a circulatory problem in his right middle finger. How serious that is, he'll find out more tomorrow. He'll have more tests. The Mets could have put Parnell on the DL today and called up Jason Bay, who had an extraordinary night last night in his rehab assignment down in St. Lucie with a couple of home runs and a 4-for-4 night. But with Bay coming back from a pulled ribcage muscle, the plan was to bring him back tomorrow, and the Mets have decided not to deviate from that plan, even though they've scored only 6 runs in their last 4 games.
Well, Terry Collins has been kind of forthright in his desire to have Bay here. And to me, he's just going by what the medical team has said and what their opinions are. But it seems to me, if you're rehabbing and playing in real games, what he went 4-for-4, hit 2 home runs. Did he take a half swing or did he take a full swing? You know, you can take a full swing out here as well. So, but those are decisions that are made at the higher levels of the organization. And Bay will be here tomorrow.
And so the Mets will go with the same unit that has been on the field for the last number of games, although Daniel Murphy will get the start at second base tonight. R.A. Dickey will go to the mound, his first start since his relief outing on Sunday in Atlanta.
Well, that was that all-or-nothing game, the final game in Atlanta. They end that road, that 3-game series in Atlanta that the Mets won, where he threw an inning of relief, of scoreless relief. The most alarming thing about Dickey, now we know he has the fingernail, the cracked fingernail, is his walks, where last year he only had 42 walks in his starts. This year, in 18 and a third innings, he's walked 12 batters. Very un-Dickey-like. But a good thing is, lifetime against the Astros, 1-0 with a 1.56 earned run average.
And on the other side for Houston, hard-throwing right-hander Bud Norris.
Well, he's his second year in the big leagues. He's a hard thrower, 25-year-old. Right-handers are only 3 for 35 against him. It's the lefties that have been hurting him. He was 9-10 last year in his rookie season with 27 starts. He's 1-1 against the Mets.
So R.A. Dickey will try and flutter the Mets by the Astros and get even in this series. All the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. with IOTV. By freescore.com, 3 credit scores, 1 place. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. By Parts Authority, the future of auto parts. By Lexus. And by Citi. Take the Mets with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Mets game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit Mets.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. R.A. Dickey getting ready for his 4th start of the season. Hoping to be intrepid tonight against the Astros. First pitch coming right up. BJ's Clubhouse. Tickets start at $10 for kids and $20 for adults, plus Mr. Met visits every game. Call 718-507-TIXX or visit Mets.com now. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, proud to be the furniture store of the New York Mets. Here's your 4th starting lineup for the Houston Astros. Same 8 that started last night. A little change in the batting order. Brett Wallace moves up to the number 5 spot against the right-hander, although it's a knuckleballer. Don't know whether that has any particular effectiveness for Brad Mills, the Houston manager. He's been trying to generate offense just like the Mets have been. The Astros broke out with 6 runs and 11 hits last night. And tonight, they'll take on the knuckleballs of R.A. Dickey.
Yes, the Verizon Mets starting pitcher, R.A. Dickey, and we mentioned it at the open. The walks are a bit alarming. Left-handers are hitting 300 against him. It's been a struggle, but he's a battler. He's looking to get back on track. He's told Terry Collins he offered to pitch with 2 days rest. He said because he's a knuckleballer. You want it, if the starting rotation is stretched, I can go on 3 days rest. So kudos to Mr. Dickey. And the Lexus Mets defense. Daniel Murphy, no errors at segunda base. And he's in there at segunda base tonight. That's second base for all you folks who don't understand Spanish.
looking to get a little more bat in the lineup. He's hitting in the 8th position tonight. Willie Harris gets a start in left field.
Bud Norris making his way in from the bullpen. You have a little frog in your throat tonight?
I just cleared it.
It's going to be okay for the rest of the night?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Okay. I worry about you sometimes.
I do. I always worry about me. Trouble seems to be right around the corner with me.
I've heard that about you. Michael Bourn will lead things off for the Astros. Bourn was 2 for 4 last night and became the first player in 38 starts to steal a base against John Neese when he stole third in the first inning last night. Bourn hitting at .283, and much like Jose Reyes through his career, they've been looking for him to get his on-base percentage a little bit higher, and Bourn has done that so far this year. He's at .368 with his on-base average. And Dickey starts the night with a knuckleball that's in for a strike, 0-1. Bourn has been on base by a hit or walk each of the last 13 games for Houston.
Ooh.
And he takes another one for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Oh, Dickey out of the chute throwing strikes.
It's been a big problem for Dickey this year. 12 walks and 18 in the third innings. Not as reliable a strike thrower as he was last year. Bourn taps one. Dickey has to hurry with it. Against the speed of Bourn, gets him one away.
But you know, the walks are kind of indicative of the entire Met staff, Gare. They lead the National League in walks with 74. They're just right down the basement almost, just above Arizona, an ERA over 5. So they're also giving up lots of hits. 170 hits so far this year, the Met staff, in 151 innings.
That's an enormous number of base runners. The league is batting .287 against the Met staff, throwing the 74 walks, and you can understand why that ERA is so high. Here's Angel Sanchez, and he takes high for ball 1. Sanchez had a good night last night. A hit and 2 walks, drove in a couple of runs. 27-year-old who came up through the Kansas City organization and now getting a chance to play regularly. Although the Astros picked up Clint Barmas in a trade, there's Nelson Figueroa, the former Met, who will not pitch in this series. The Astros picked up Clint Barmas in a trade in the offseason, and he was scheduled to be their everyday shortstop, and Sanchez getting a chance to play with the injury to Barmas, who broke his hand during spring training. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Barmas comes back, which should be a week to 10 days from now.
And interesting, you saw where Ian Stewart with Colorado got sent down to the minor leagues. Boy, what a slump he was in.
Right back to Dickey. So 2 quick chances for RA and 2 outs.
Ubaldo Jimenez was reactivated, and Stewart, who was given the third base job, was just struggling.
Ubaldo had a tough start last night. Gave up a 3-run homer to Pablo Sandoval in the first inning that ruined his first start since coming back. But the Rockies got their revenge today in a 10-2 win over the Giants in the rubber game of that series.
They beat up on Matt Cain.
Here's Hunter Pence and a check swing, and that one goes to the backstop. Pence 0 for 4 last night. Home plate umpire Paul Nart got the worst of that. There's that Rockies win. They're now 13-5, the best record in the major leagues.
Pence had a tough night last night. Really didn't look good at the plate at all. Neese, who struggled but pitched a gutty game, just ate up Pence.
And Dickey threw a number of strikes early on ahead on Pence. It was Neese's best start since his first of the year.
Yes, the only alarming thing was the walks. 1 intentional, so 4 walks were issued, 5 total.
Dickey ahead 0-2. Spectacular in the first inning of his starts, and for that matter in the first inning and what turned out to be the only inning of his relief outing. Did not give up a run, and a very slow knuckleball at 62 miles an hour.
He's got to be careful with that pitch because he does slow his motion down, and hitters are going to get hip to that. Remember that song, What Is Hip, right? Tower Power.
What is hip?
Yes. Tell me.
Bouncing away from Toley, and it's 3-2. Well, generally with the knuckleball, it seems that the slower you throw it, the more it's going to move.
It does, yes. And the pitch that mesmerizes you is the one which is the signature pitch for Dickey, and that's the hard one.
And he walks under Pence after getting ahead of him 0-2. So there's a bat that's kind of emblematic of Dickey's season so far. Unable to throw that strike, or at least the appetizing enough pitch to get Pence to offer at it. And the Astros have a 2-out base runner for Carlos Lee. Now Lee has had Dickey's number over the years, 7 for 14 with a home run against RA. And Carlos was talking about his success, and he said, I have no idea why I'm able to hit him. And throws the first pitch fastball, and it misses for ball 1.
Well, Lee has always been a thorn in the Mets side, and a lot is asked of him in this lineup now.
And a high fly ball into center field. Angel Pagan ambling over, and Lee retired to end the inning. So another hitless first inning for R.A. Dickey. Sun peeking through the Citi Field opening. Ahead of Ike Davis and Angel Pagan. That'll change tomorrow when Jason Bay comes back. Willie Harris probably starting his last game for a while in left field. And Daniel Murphy in the 8-hole gets the start at second base tonight against hard-throwing Bud Norris.
Well, Bud Norris, you see his number, second year with the Astros. He is the Toyota moving forward starting pitcher for the Houston Astros. That'll make Bill Webb happy. You can see the lefties having wearing them out, but right-handers, my goodness, we mentioned at the open, just killing them.
What a contrast. 385 the lefties, 086 the righties. Those numbers will probably even up a little bit as the season goes along, but it gives you an idea that the Mets should be weighted down with left-hand hitters, which they are, with 7 of them in the lineup tonight. And Jose Reyes leads off and takes a fastball for a strike. 91 from Norris to start him off, and Norris will get it up to 95, 96. Reyes 0 for 4 last night. Average is dipped just below 300 at 299. 9 extra base hits for Jose. That's tied for 3rd in the National League.
This is one of only 2 teams that Jose Reyes in his career has not hit a home run against. 166 at bats.
And he lines one right past the originator for a leadoff hit.
Well, nice and short swing here. Fastball outside corner. It is, yeah, Jose right there, right on it. Jose's been hitting too many balls in the air of late. When he goes bad, he hits too many balls in the air. Love it when he hits the ball on the ground and hits line drives.
His 24th hit coming in the Mets' 18th game. It's a nice pace. Like 215 hits. That'll win you a big contract.
I would think so.
Here's Josh Thole, 0 for 3 last night. Hit a home run against Norris last year, and Reyes hops back to the bag. That's faced Norris on 2 occasions last year, including once last year when Norris and Dickey matched up, and Dickey bested him. Reyes not been caught yet this year, and Thole takes a strike.
You can see the hard throwing Norris. Got some giddy up on that fastball. A little slider. They say a tendency with Norris. There's David Wright, who's struggling right now, mired in an 0 for 16 slump. So he flies his front shoulder out and tries to overthrow like all young pitchers.
And Reyes just gets the hand back. Almost got caught flat-footed by Norris that time.
Close, but no cigar.
Mercedes-Benz Ultra Low brought to you by your Tri-State dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com. Reyes runs. Thole takes high and Tolles with the throw. No, not in time. And Reyes has his 7th stolen base of the year.
Well, stealing early in the count, Gare. 0-1 pitch. Like it. Make it happen. He is the catalyst of this club.
Well, on Sunday, Reyes stole on a first pitch against Tommy Hanson in the 5th inning. And now he steals on a second pitch. So clearly this has been a subject of some conversation with Reyes and Mookie Wilson and Terry Collins, trying to get Reyes to steal earlier. And he has taken the bait. So he's at second with nobody out, 1-1 to Thole. And he slashes one foul, 1-2.
Josh has been tardy on the fastball of late. And mentioned when 50, he has 50 at bats on the year, 13 strikeouts. That's a little high for him. It's on the pace almost on a 100 strikeout pace, and for a contact hitter. But he's been a little bit late here. Hasn't been getting the barrel of the bat through.
With anybody else, he'd tell him to choke up a little bit.
Exactly.
But he's already there.
Yep.
Shortstop Sanchez shading Reyes, leaving the left side hole completely open for Thole, and now Tolles is going to go out for a conversation with Norris.
Well, probably the reasoning there is that you're figuring that Thole is looking to pull the ball to advance the runner. But I would be. But you've got to hold Reyes tight, because Reyes is a threat to steal third.
The first time that Thole came to bat with Reyes at second in Atlanta, he went after the first pitch and hit the ball over the shortstop's head. So he's not necessarily looking to pull the ball, or at least he hasn't in his prior opportunities, with a runner at second and nobody out. And he's such a natural left field hitter. And he gets tied up inside, and he went around, strike 3.
Oh, boy.
So Thole has struck out. Kerwin Danley confirms down at third base for the first out.
That was a pretty good slider right here. It's a tough pitch to lay off. It's not a strike, but it starts out around 2 inches on the inside corner, and that was a hard slider. Very difficult pitch to lay off. Tied him up. I thought he didn't swing, but today it's almost automatic.
Well, as you say, Keith, this is a hitter who's not accustomed to striking out very much. And the strikeout numbers have been building for Josh. Now 1 out for David Wright, who's mired in a difficult slump right now. 0 for his last 16. Longest 0 for of David's career was 0 for 19. That was back in 08. And he takes a slider in the dirt for ball 1.
Well, you get the Coors Light defense for the Astros here. As you see Michael Bourne, the 2-time Gold Glover, came over from the Phils. Hunter Pence, not too shabby out in right field.
Those are the plus defensive players for the Astros. Otherwise, a particularly defensively challenged team.
Well, David hit a ball hard last night, the first at bat. Fly ball in the right field. It was Del Monte here. And, you know, you can say it was a home run in a lot of ballparks. Yes, it was. But, you know, you got the elements here. You're playing in this park. This is a line drive hitter's park. Death Valley in the air.
And you can see a little frustration in David's face after that fly ball out his first time up last night. But that's going to happen here. And it's not the first time that it's happened this year, and it won't be the last. Reyes at second and 1 out. Mets batting in the opening inning and looking to get the jump on the Astros after managing just 1 run and 4 hits last night. See how successful Reyes has been stealing third base, and good breaking ball by Norris. 2-1.
Pretty good pitch. 2-0 here. David looking for a fast. Oh, was it fast? Oh, a little cutter. Looked like that ball ran.
Almost like a running changeup.
Might have been
85 miles an hour.
Might have been a change. Pretty gutsy pitch. Put it knee high outside corner.
Two and two now to right, with Carlos Beltran to follow. David got off to a rip-roaring start this year, but has hit a wall over the last few days. Hit some balls hard in Atlanta and hit that long fly ball last night, but he is begging for a hit right now.
Well, he said he kind of started losing it and feeling uncomfortable in the Atlanta series.
So a full count.
I bet you it just missed. And it did. Good call. Good eye.
Three-two from Norris. Reyes runs and Wright fouls it off. So Jose was stealing third as Wright fouled that one off.
No, you know, a lot of hitters don't like guys stealing with 2 strikes. You know, I was one of those. Maybe it doesn't affect David.
Well, with Reyes running from second to third, doesn't he leave your field of vision before you have to pick up the ball?
Yeah, but you can refocus or you can stay focused. I should say that it never really bothered me. I had a lot of players.
Ball 4 to David, and the Mets have 2
that didn't like it. When I came from running teams in St. Louis, George Hendrick comes to mind with our cleanup hitter, now the first base coach for the Tampa Bay Rays. He always said to those guys, you run anytime you want, but don't run with 2 strikes. And that even meant on first base. He didn't want you running with 2 strikes on first base. Now, a right-hander can see. I, as a left-hand hitter, I couldn't see someone stealing from first base.
And did that keep your speedsters from running?
Yes. George was very authoritative, very much respected.
Talk to you guys. You didn't talk to the likes of us. He was known as Silent George. Here's Carlos Beltran with 2 on. Homered last night as a right-hand batter. In fact, all 3 of Carlos's home runs this year have come batting right-handed. He's hitting for a higher average left-handed, 265 from the left side.
This could be a good matchup for Carlos, a high ball pitcher, hard thrower. Carlos likes that ball belt high up. We know he's got his bat speed.
And Norris struggling, now behind 2-0. See the lefty-righty numbers so far for Carlos. Only a matter of time before he takes one deep from the left side. He's been swinging the bat very well now for almost 2 weeks. So Norris, after walking right on a 3-2 pitch, has fallen behind Beltran 2-0. He did not throw right a fastball 2-0. He does to Beltran and gets it over for a strike.
There's Ike out of the trying to get as close as he can to get a good angle at the pitcher. Trying to get as close as he can to get kind of a better angle and see what gauge the speed. I was always on one knee in the on-deck circle. Ike likes to kind of do his timing thing there. Good pitch inside.
And Norris finds the corner and gets even 2-2.
This is a good pitch. And this is where this kid needs to pitch, because he's got a good fastball and he's got a pound hitters inside. That's a good pitch.
Broken bat past the mound. Norris scrambling after it, but he'll have no play, and the bases are loaded. Well, he shattered Beltran's bat, slowed that ball down, but couldn't glove it cleanly, and Beltran has an infield hit.
Soft liner. And look at Beltran running down the line. This is called smelling it. Nothing wrong with that. He gets tied up inside again.
So the Mets with a prime opportunity in the first inning and their best RBI bat at the plate. Ike was 1 for 3 last night with a double in his last at bat. He took that one right over the third base bag. .293 batting average, a .400 on base percentage for Davis with 12 runs batted in. Bases loaded, 1 out. And Ike takes a nice looking fastball for a strike.
Well, Ike's got to stop moaning and groaning at umpires. He did it in Atlanta. And let me tell you something. The umpires, you start moaning and you're young, it'll get around the league and you will not get close calls.
Saw a little of that in Atlanta after Ike complained about a call very visibly. Skips out of the way of that. And it's 1-1.
This young man is pounding inside, as we say. Relentless.
And as a consequence, he'll hit batters. He hit 11 of them last year. Hasn't hit a batter yet this year. Certainly doesn't want to now with the bases loaded. Ike looking for his first career grand slam. Mets looking for their first in a year and a half.
Oh boy, tied him up with a slider upstairs. Up, but he got it in.
So now Davis finds himself in a 1-2 hole with Pagan to follow. It's been a hard-working inning for Bud Norris. He's already thrown 22 pitches. Reyes single, right walk. Beltran with an infield hit.
Good time for a changeup here. Try to get a ground ball. After 3 pitches hard in, they're going back in.
Didn't get it quite in enough, and Davis fouls off the fastball. Hardest one he's thrown so far. Bud Norris from Novato, California.
That's in the Bay Area on the East Bay.
One-two to Davis. Fouled away again.
That's just some defensive swinging right there. Just shortening up, trying to stay in the at bat here. 2 similar swings in a row behind the count. Pretty much straight away with Ike. First baseman's kind of in nowhere's land. He's got to back up. You just got to play back at first base. You got a left-hand hitter up here. What are you doing? Move back.
Norris trying to get that ground ball to get to and get through the inning. And Davis trying to lay off the slider. He went around, strike 3. So Norris, who struck out Tolley in much the same fashion, gets Davis for the second out.
Well, let's see if he swung. Yeah, I think he did. And it's a tough pitch to lay off again. This kid's got potential to be a pretty good pitcher.
Delta keep climbing overhead. Cam gives us a good view.
That was just relentless power pitching right here to Ike. He just kept coming and coming and coming after him hard inside.
25 pitches already in the first inning, but Norris will take it if he can get through it. Now he's got to get through Angel Pagan, who hit the last grand slam the Mets had back in August of '09. Right now, Pagan would settle for a little bleeder, hitting just 175 on the year.
Well, he's got to be careful pitching this man inside. Angel's been pulling off.
Reyes faking down the line, trying to draw Norris's attention. And Pagan hits one in the air to right field. Back goes Pence. Going back, warning track. He's there to make the grab. Right at the edge of the track. And another long fly ball at Citi Field goes for naught. Mets leave him loaded in the first. No score. No score. He'll face Brett Wallace to lead off for Houston in the second. Dickey, as he has generally done as a Met, put up a 0 in the first inning. What's that? 27 out of 30 first innings as a Met starter. He's put up a 0.
I never liked facing a knuckleballer the first at bat. It was always an at bat where I really had to feel it out because it's a different pitch. It's one you don't face every day.
Brett Wallace had 2 hits last night. Young first baseman who was acquired from Toronto last summer. And he takes one the other way to the left field line and all the way into the corner. Willie Harris chases it, and Wallace pulls into second base with a leadoff double.
Well, that's how you hit a knuckleballer, Gare. You wait to the last possible moment because the ball breaks late. There's a knuckleball that didn't do anything, and he just launched it right down the middle and opted down the left field line. Nice hitting.
Third double of the year for Wallace and the first hit for the Astros. Now Chris Johnson the batter. One thing about these Astros hitters, they tend to be extremely aggressive.
They don't walk.
They're right near the bottom of the league in walks, and these next 2 hitters in particular, Johnson and Bill Hall behind him, among all National League hitters, they are in the top 3 in percentage of pitches swung at this year. And a slow dribbler, they'll never get him. Dickey has to pick it up and put it in his pocket. It's an infield hit for Chris Johnson. So a lucky hit for Johnson, and the Astros have first and third and nobody out.
Well, tit for a tat there. Carlos Beltran's infield hit. And here's the answer here. Knuckleball, you can see, didn't break very much, but still got him out in front. And this is called your swinging bunt. And the Mets are in a little bit of trouble here. First and third, nobody out.
So now Bill Hall, 1 for 5 last night, struck out 3 times.
Well, he really looked bad at the plate last night. He had no chance at Nice's curveball.
And he chops one back toward Dickey. The runner holds at third, and Dickey will get the out at first. So Wallace did not break. No play on Johnson at second. Dickey took the play he had for the first out.
Swinging bunt again here. Second and third. Hall just looks like he's just lost all confidence.
That's 3 chances already for Dickey. Last year, Dickey set a Mets club record for most chances by a pitcher without an error in a season. He had 61 of them. And you can see why there are so many balls topped back toward the mound. And he's in good fielding position. So now second and third and 1 out. You got the 8-hitter J.R. Tolles up. The Mets play the infield back.
Toll was on base 4 times last night. 2 for 2 and 2 walks.
Had a double and drove in a run. Toll splitting the catching time right now with Humberto Quintero. Dickey certainly helps himself with his defense. He helps himself with his bat. Now trying to get out of a jam with his pitching, and he gets a swinging strike from Tolles, 1-1.
A little tardy here.
How can you be late on a knuckleball?
He waited too long.
You need an hourglass. Wallace is at third, Johnson at second. Not much speed on the bases. And the pitcher Norris waiting on deck. Mets bypassed an opportunity in the bottom of the first. The Astros have their shot here in the second. Breaks off the glove of Tolley, but not far enough for Wallace to move. Well, that's the ever-present danger with a runner at third and the knuckleballer on the mound.
Well,
and I have to say, Tolley has had more trouble catching Dickey so far this year than he had at any point last year. So now Dickey behind on Tolles, 3-1. And that one goes to the backstop. Here comes Wallace from third. Tolley with the underhand toss, and he's safe. Boy, if Tolley had fired that ball, he might have gotten him. For some reason, he threw the ball underhand, and Wallace was able to get in under Dickey's tag. And the Astros have a 1-0 lead.
What did he assume that this was an easy? I mean, Wallace doesn't run well. He's almost out. He just barely got in there.
And you have to figure if he throws the ball hard, he's got a better chance. But I don't know what he thought. So it's a walk to Tolles, and a wild pitch scores Wallace and sends Johnson over to third, and the Astros lead 1-0. Bud Norris takes a long look down at Dave Clark, the third base coach, to see what might be on here. It's hard to put on a squeeze with a knuckleballer on the mound, I would think. And he takes a big rip. 0-1. Norris, a lifetime 172 hitter, 1 for 4 this year with a double and an RBI.
He's not a bad hitter. He's a good athlete.
Grew up as a snowboarder and a golfer in Northern California.
Oh, he went to Lake Tahoe.
Yeah. Line into left field, and Norris has a base hit. That brings home Johnson with the second run of the inning, and it's 2-0 Houston. So the pitcher Bud Norris picks up his second hit and second RBI of the season.
I believe this got a break in the bat here. I think he broke his bat, but good at bat. Another knuckler. Yep, it did break his bat. Got it on the label. Pretty good swing right there.
So you can see why they had him swing away. Now Michael Bourne, and he takes a hack at a knuckleball that dropped. 0-1. Bourne hit a comebacker his first time up. So Wallace led off with an opposite field double. Johnson with a little bleeder for an infield hit. And Hall retired on a ground ball, but the walk-in wild pitch plated 1 run, and Norris's hit brought home another.
Very interesting at this lineup. The first lineup I've seen that is making RA get his knuckleball up.
Under the glove of Dickey and into center field, a base hit. Tolles around third, heads for the plate. Pagan's throw is off the line, and it's 3-0 Houston. Michael Bourne with an RBI single, his 5th run batted in, and the Astros have put 3 on the board here in the second.
Well, we used to call this the knuckleball that didn't knuckle. It's just sitting there on a tee. And that whenever a knuckleball doesn't knuckle, it's just right there. Like I said, it's just sitting there. Here, hit me. And with the pitcher there, you don't want him going first and third on the back end there.
Well, 4 hits in the inning. Now Angel Sanchez pokes one foul. Well, isn't it always the goal of an offensive team against a knuckleballer to make him get that ball up?
Yes, but you mentioned it, Gary. This is a team that doesn't walk, but they're showing tremendous patience against Dickey.
The Astros have taken advantage of their opportunities this year. You saw that number with runners in scoring position. They're 3 for 4 in this inning already with runners in scoring position. So despite the fact that they're 9th in the league in on-base percentage and 11th in slugging, they're 7th in the league in runs scored. 0-2 to Sanchez, and he checks the swing, and it's 1-2. The Mets pitching staff continues to underperform, and it's been everybody, with the possible exception of Pedro Beato, as Sanchez goes down for the second out. I mean, really, it's been a top to bottom underperformance over the first 18 games of the season. You look at expectations for virtually every starter and virtually every relief pitcher, and not unreasonable expectations, but what the guy's done in the past, what you expect from him. I mean, I guess Chris Young did his job, but he's out hurt now. But everybody else is struggling. Cutter Pence takes a strike.
Well, Dickey was one of the guys the Mets were relying on, and we're not even close to getting out of April yet. And we have seen in the past clubs that have gotten off to bad starts and have turned it around, or individuals have turned it around. April does not make a season.
And that's certainly true. You can come from, the Mets are what,
7 games under 500. You can come from 7 games under 500 and do extraordinary things. But I think it's just been the overall underperformance in every area that's been so surprising. Dickey with back-to-back strikeouts of Sanchez and Pence to get through the inning. But the Astros played 3 and take a 3-0 lead. In action.
Look at all those water tanks on top of those buildings there. Jeez.
It's a very interesting observation on your part. That's the last thing that I would have noticed.
There was 5 of them.
Here's your Mets upcoming schedule. Remember, all Mets games on SNY are available in HD, presented by IOTV. You can also listen to all Mets games on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. One more game with the Astros tomorrow night with Chris Capuano on the mound. Then the Diamondbacks are here for the weekend. The Mets are in Washington and Philly next week. And that'll take us into the month of May.
Oh, I see. Saturday and Sunday, it's Fox and ESPN.
You know what that means?
That means we're on the train after the 7 o'clock game back to New York.
Should have a viewing party on Saturday and Sunday.
It's so hard to get out of Philadelphia, folks. The traffic there is horrendous. Fill it up. There's no easy access to that ballpark. It's all a grid down there with stoplights.
They played a 1 o'clock game in Philly today, you know, Wednesday afternoon, and they got another sellout. Came from 3 runs down and beat the Brewers. They sell out every game there now. Harris takes low and away with a changeup from Norris, 2-1. Willie hitting a .267 with a homer and 7 RBIs. Has gotten most of the playing time, filling in for Jason Bay, who should be back tomorrow. Daniel Murphy on deck, and then R.A. Dickey in the second. And Harris pops one up along the line toward that short fence. Pence and the second baseman Hall.
Nice play.
Hits the barrier hard. Did he hang on to the ball? He did.
He did. What a catch.
Wow. Bill Hall, and he looks a little shaken. That is a very dangerous low fence. We've said that from the first day this place opened. And he hit that thing going almost full speed and might have had the wind knocked out of him.
Well, you can see the padding, but still it's a jolt there. Your lower body takes the hit. Oh, the kid got knocked down. Jeez. That'll teach him.
That's a great play by Bill Hall.
It sure is. You see the padding. That's a heck of a catch.
Hit him by thigh high as he went in hard there.
This kid's about to go down. Oh, we got tagged. There he goes.
He should at least get a Nathan's hot dog at them.
Took a left hook from Frazier.
Here's your Home Depot doing more on defense.
That's a nice play. And that's a guy that's struggling at the plate too, mightily, and makes a play in the field like that. Look, he had his mouthpiece on. We were getting on him about his. The kid's all right.
Yeah, happy for a little encounter with a Major League Baseball player.
What's he got his hat on backwards for?
Because it's cool.
He might be a catcher.
I don't think that's it. I think it's all about fashion. Bill Hall appears to be okay. But you remember from the first exhibition game the Mets played here when they moved into Citi Field in '09, we identified that corner as a place that might be, a little hazardous to the health of some right fielders and second basemen.
I like all the little different angles in the new ballparks today. They name like the old parks. I like the fact that we go around the league, and in our day, everything was so cookie cutter. All those horrible all-purpose stadiums that were just round and had no imagination.
Well, what it means is as a fielder, you really need to take stock of the ballpark that you're playing in on a nightly basis.
Oh, the sun's going down. The city's just starting to wake up.
The city never sleeps. Daniel Murphy takes up an away ball one. What's great about the city is it operates 24 hours. But not everybody in it operates 24 hours. They take different segments of it.
Yes, and there's a whole dichotomy of people that live in that city and work at different hours and play at different hours.
And Ari Dickey not out on deck, so he must be otherwise occupied, perhaps using that glass file on his fingernail. Yeah, he's just getting his helmet on. 2-1 to Murphy, who's hitting .226, and he strokes one foul. You ever see that movie After Hours, Griffin Dunn?
No.
That came out in the 80s.
Good.
Very hilarious, all about the denizens of the night.
Well, I discovered a club that opened up after the clubs closed at 4. And I just had to go in there to check it out.
This is recently?
No. When I was playing.
Back in the day.
It was in the off season, of course. I'd never do when I was playing. And I strolled in there around 4:30 in the morning, and let me tell you, what a crowd that was. I never went back.
Murphy takes a call, third strike, and Norris has done a great job on that inside corner against the lefties. This is a guy who had been giving up a .385 batting average to lefties, but look what he's doing tonight.
He's pounding in, and left-hand hitters, Mets on the bench, paying attention.
Here Delta keep climbing overhead cam. Perfect pitch by Bud Norris to get Murphy. Third strikeout for Norris, and there are 2 out in the inning. Now R.A. Dickey takes a strike.
It'll be very curious, Garrett, a second time through the order against the left-handers, and see what this young man opts to do. Does he go back inside, or does he mix it up?
Little tapper, and Norris gets his glove on this one and almost airmails it over Wallace's head, but he makes the play to end the inning. Well, Bill Hall, fortunately okay after a close encounter with the low fence and a great catch. 1-2-3 inning. HOU.com. 3 credit scores, 1 place. Carlos Lee leads off the 3rd inning against R.A. Dickey. Lee fly to center his first time up. And Dickey starts him off with a fastball for ball 1. Same thing he did the first time. Started Lee with a fastball. It'll be Lee, then Wallace and Johnson. No relation to Wallace Johnson. There's a call, strike, 1-1.
The fastball.
Dickey mixing it up as he did against Troy Tulowitzki in his last start. Threw him 5 straight fastballs in a big spot. Got a double play from him. There's a knuckleball. Dickey wants the half swing checked out, but no swing. 2-1. That game against Colorado, Dickey was hit for 5 runs and 8 hits, 4 walks over 6 1/3. And another fastball and a line drive caught by Davis. 1 away. Well, Kevin Burkhardt is standing by outside the Verizon studios. Kevin, what you finding?
Our favorite segment, the Verizon Ask the Booth. Fans get to ask you guys a question, and we had a good discussion out here with Bruce from Manorville. Daniel Murphy at second base tonight. It was Justin Turner at second base last night. I think, Bruce, that'll set up the question for the fellows. What do you have for them?
Who will be the second baseman for the Mets in the New York future?
I don't know if the Mets know that question, guys, but what do you think about that? Who is the future second baseman for this team?
I know who they hope will be the future second baseman. If he can ever stay healthy for a period of time, it's going to be Rhys Havens. I mean, he has the best upside potential of anybody in the Mets farm system, certainly better than anybody who's here right now.
Well, I think this was the one position when the spring training started that was the big question mark, Kev. And ask that young man there, he's from Manorville. Does he go to the Starbucks? I always stop at the Starbucks at Manorville, right on the way into the ballpark, right by the LIE. Ask him if he gets coffee there.
Guess it's too late. Another play for Dickey, who's been active on defense tonight. 2 out. You know, there are all sorts of possibilities. I mean, if the Mets make the decision to retain Jose Reyes, maybe Ruben Tejada becomes the second baseman of the future.
That could be.
Maybe Daniel Murphy's able to establish himself and he wins the position long term. All of those things are possibilities.
Murphy would be cut out of the mold of Ken Boswell.
Why do you say Boswell?
Because Boswell was more of a hitter than a fielder.
And a left-hand hitter.
Yep.
Chris Johnson had an infield hit his first time. A little tap or foul. As for Rhys Havens, you know, out of the University of South Carolina, the Mets love this kid. But he's played very little professional baseball because of injuries, and he had off-season surgery to remove a rib. And his comeback from that has been a little slower than expected, so he's yet to play. Foley tries to snatch that knuckleball into the strike zone. Didn't get the call. 2-1. And a little flare. Davis over near the railing, and he can't get there. It was not in a good position for him to do his foot maneuver. Might have been better off sliding.
Oh boy, it should have been on the other side of the fence. He'd have made the play.
So Johnson's still in there with a 2-2 count. And he swings and misses, or did he get a piece? He just got a piece.
That was a little grub worm right there. Killing worms. Watch this. Beware worms. Run.
Foley was popping out there thinking, well, maybe that ball will stay fair. But it stayed in foul territory. Over the bag, and that's a base hit for Johnson. Beltran chases it to the sidewall, and Johnson's going to try for 2, and Carlos bobbles the ball, and Johnson arrives with no threat.
Well, nice hitting by Johnson right down the line here, and it just scoots by that angle. Carlos just took his eye off the ball there. And that knuckleball that breaks away, he went right with it. and never hesitated.
It's a double all the way for Johnson, the 5th hit off Dickey. So a runner in scoring position with 2 down, and Bill Hall, who made that terrific catch on the foul pop-up hit by Willie Harris in the last half inning, gets a turn at bat. Hall hit a comebacker his first time up.
Hall has just been struggling, and it's been how many years now since that big year Gary had in Milwaukee?
It's 5 years ago now.
Yeah, so it's pretty much, I guess he was a flash in the pan.
Hit 35 home runs that year with the Brewers. Dickey up to 50 pitches on the night, more than he'd like. First pitch strikes. That's been a good number for him tonight. But he's already walked 2 and given up 3 runs and 5 hits. And a good backhand play by Tolley to keep that from going to the backstop. 2-1. J.R. Tolles, the catcher, and number 8 hitter, is on deck. The Astros have been playing better lately after a miserable start. They began the year 1-7, but they're 5-4 since under Brad Mills. And that knuckleball fouled off. 2-2.
Well, you can just see the frustration in Hall's face. It's no fun when you're on the interstate.
And probably facing a knuckleballer makes it less fun. Chris Johnson at second with 2 out. Dickey trying to put away Hall. And he got him. Side retire. 3rd strikeout for R.A. Dickey. Survives the 2-out double. Mets will come up in the bottom of the 3rd. Beautiful night in the big town. Reyes set to lead off. Concludes tomorrow night at 7:10 p.m. Tickets start at $10. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX for your tickets now. Mets will have the top of the batting order up in the bottom of the 3rd, trailing 3-0. Reyes, Tolley, and Wright to bat against Bud Norris.
Well, remember now, while Norris just pounded the entire left-handed side of the order of the Mets inside. He's given up 2 base hits in the first inning, 1 hard one, and that was to Reyes, and that was a fastball away. So let's see if he goes inside to Reyes.
Well, the left-hand batters were 2 for 7 against Norris first time around, and Reyes takes a strike. Jose singled to center, stole second, got to third. Mets loaded the bases with 1 out, but Norris was able to work out of the jam. And a crack up the middle and a base hit, and Reyes is 2 for 2. So Jose has had Norris's number if nobody else has.
Oh, slider here. No, changeup. Maybe a fastball. Pretty good pitch. Knee high outside corner. Nice hitting by Jose. Up in front of the box. You see so many hitters hitting behind in the box. Look at Jose where his stride takes him. Almost to the front of the plate.
25 hits already for Reyes. Picked up his 7th stolen base in the opening inning. Josh Thole struck out his first time up. And Thole takes one the other way, chasing Carlos Lee back, and he gets there to make the grab. So 1 out and Reyes back to first. Well, this is when Reyes stole second back in the first inning. We got a little measurement of his lead. 12 feet 8 inches. And then from second, he took off on what turned out to be a foul ball, but 18 feet 6 inches.
You're always obviously going to take a bigger lead at second base than you are at first.
So we'll try and track his lead during this at bat and see if it differs at all. Here's David Wright, who walked his first time up. The Astros have that third baseman Johnson playing over toward the line and leaving a big hole on the left side for David, which is interesting when you have a hard thrower on the mound like this.
I agree 100%. And you can see right there what Gary pointed out. I would take the hole away from David. David's an opposite field hitter anyway. He loves hitting that right center field gap.
Interesting. After that first pitch, Johnson moved a little closer to the hole, further from the line. Carlos Beltran on deck. Let's try to build something here in the third, down 3-0.
Fastball away. This is a good pitch for David.
There goes Reyes, and Wright fouls back the fastball.
Well, he missed on the other side of the plate. Good jump by Reyes.
Jose said before the season his goal is to get back to those 60 to 70 stolen base days. And he's off to a good start in that department. Norris, who almost picked him off in the first inning, chases him back. Wright trying to snap out of an 0 for 16 hole.
Oh, slider.
Yeah, the Mets have continually led the National League in stolen bases. That can have an impact for you, but you got to be able to drive people in, and that's been a problem this year, especially with 2 out. Reyes runs again. Wright strikes out. Toll's throw has no chance, and Reyes has his 2nd stolen base of the night. Well, 8th of the year for Reyes.
Up and in fastball. No chance. You see the David way behind it, has not been able to get the barrel out. Watch it, him here. See him bring that forearm in this way to cut it. He knows he's beat. Try to get that inside out. And that's all your weight's on your back foot when you get tied up like that. It's sayonara.
So now 2 out, and Beltran will try and get Reyes home from second. Takes a knee-high fastball for a strike.
This young man's throwing pretty good. If he can keep it up and be consistent, he's got some potential.
Well, Norris threw 6 scoreless innings in his last start against San Diego in a 1-0 win. Allowed just 2 hits in those 6 innings. Biggest problem was his pitch count. He threw 116 pitches in those 6 innings. Beltran slaps one foul, and it's 0-2. Carlos broke his bat his first time up and hit a flare that just ticked off the glove of the pitcher Norris and in no man's land for an infield hit. Norris has struck out 4, walked 1, given up no runs and 3 hits. Ike Davis hoping for a turn on deck. Reyes at second and 2 down. And Beltran fouls one off the mask of Tolles, knocks it right off.
Tardy on this one. 2 strikes. Upstairs after 2 low ones. This kid is, I don't know if it's by design, but he's pitching like a seasoned veteran. This is country hardball here.
Well, he's averaged better than a strikeout per inning for his major league career since he came up in 09. 9.3 strikeouts per 9. And you know, since he came up, that's the 6th best mark in the National League. So he is a legit power pitcher. Ahead on Beltran 0-2, and Carlos takes the changeup down 1-2. Bud Norris, who played his college baseball at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
The prettiest of all the Spanish missions up and down the coast of California. That's where, no, I'm thinking of Capistrano. Excuse me. That's where the Swallows come home.
But San Luis Obispo is beautiful too.
Yes, it is.
And I have to say that because that's where my mother-in-law resides.
You better.
Yes. It's the 1-2.
I totally understand.
And she'll be listening, so.
What's her name?
Irene.
Irene, you listening? Gary speaks very highly of you all the time.
Thank you. You're very helpful. 2-2 to Beltran. And the breaking ball ripped into left center for a base hit. That'll go to the wall. Reyes scores. Beltran heading towards second. And he's in standing with a run-scoring double. It cuts the Astros lead to 3-1.
Well, we said how Beltran is a high ball hitter. Wants the fastball in. Watch where he bleeds it out. Not even close. It's a slider. Hanging slider out in the way. Good hitting by Carlos. And we'll see. Watch his take back, folks. Now it begins. Ball hasn't left the hand. That's why that's good balance.
Well, Beltran accounted for the only Met run last night with a home run. Drives in the first run for the Mets tonight with a 2-out RBI double. His 8th run batted in. And now Ike Davis comes to bat. So one of the few mistakes Norris has made in this game, hanging that breaking ball. And now Davis, who struck out on a nasty breaking ball his first time up. And takes a fastball, a changeup for a strike. Pagan waits on deck.
Oh, good pitch inside again. This one had some kind of movement. There's the IOTV pitch differential. That's like
that may be a record for our IOTV pitch differential.
You're at the other side of the world.
It's like differential calculus.
Alpha Omega.
Here's the 0-2. And it's slapped to third. Johnson on the backhand has a long throw to make. And it's too late. Davis beats it out. Johnson took his sweet time, perhaps underestimating the foot speed of Ike Davis.
What's he thinking? I don't care if you got a truck horse over there. You can't take your time like this. Nice stretch by Wallace, and he cheated too. Wallace not known for his glove. But did a good job there. Nice hustle by Ike.
A rare infield hit for Ike Davis. And he and Wallace, who are college teammates at Arizona State, can talk about just how fast Ike is legging that ball out. Now the tying runs are on base for Angel Pagan, who flied out deep to right his first time up. And it's up and away from Norris, 1-0.
And Pagan, the first time up, just missed one, a fly ball to right field in front of the track with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Beltran at third, Davis at first with 2 down.
The way Angel's been swinging and pulling that front shoulder out, you've got to pitch him away.
Up and away, and it's 2-0. And Toles will run the ball back out to Norris, who all of a sudden has hit a speed bump here in the third.
And this is what we see a lot of in today's games. You look at that was Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach for the Stros. A lot of young pitchers that look like world beaters for 2 innings, and then they're diamonds in the rough. They can start making mistakes and getting balls over the middle. And it makes you wonder, should they be in AAA honing their pitches? But expansion is a whole different program.
Pagan breaks his bat into left field, and Carlos Lee has it to end the inning. So Pagan's troubles continue. The Mets manage a run. Reyes gets it started again with his second hit and his second stolen base of the night. And Carlos. Fourth inning, J.R. Toles leads off against R.A. Dickey, 3-1 Houston. Toles walked and scored his first time up, and first pitch swinging fouls off the knuckleball. It'll be 8-9-1 in the Houston order. Toles has now been on base 5 straight times to start this series, taking advantage of his playing time. He had actually been down with an ankle injury over the weekend, but came back for last night's game and came out running. 1-1 to Toles with the pitcher Norris on deck, and then Michael Bourne. Dickey gave up all 3 runs in the second inning. One of them scoring on a wild pitch. That's got a run back in the third on Beltran's double, and that's where we are. And already throws the fastball down the middle for a strike. 2-2. There have been times when Dickey has had to throw more fastballs. Back with the knuckleball. And his His last start against Colorado was one of those times. He got into a stretch where he just couldn't throw his knuckleball for a strike and had to resort to a more conventional pitch. Of course, he was a conventional pitcher and a guy who threw in the 90s when he first started out. And runs another fastball in, and it's fouled off. J.R. Tolles has spent parts of 5 seasons now with Houston. Has never been able to get over the hump and get a lot of playing time and stick. 7th pitch of the at bat. And Tolles rockets one down the left field line, but it's hooking and going foul.
David Wright at third, really hugging that line, and rightly so, with the soft tossing knuckleball of R.A. Dickey.
And it's off the plate. Tolles just having great turns at bat every time up in this series.
Move over, Mickey Cochran.
Pitch number 9 in the at bat, and Tolles hits one in the air to left, and Willie Harris steadies and puts it away, 1 out. Well, I understand we have a new feature at Citi Field this year, and I wasn't even aware of this till a few days ago, but Keith has his own burger stand.
I do.
Now, you don't actually serve the burgers yourself.
I don't, and that's Chef Javier there. He was terrific. There's 2 burgers. There's the
it's a Brooklyn burger, of course.
Of course,
the official burger of the New York Mets.
And there's Javier right there.
So you've got the Gold Glove burger and the Mex burger.
Yes.
2 different burgers.
Yes, the Mex. But you have the Mex burger.
I have the Mex burger here, which has got bacon on it. It's got
is it more Hispanic?
Got guacamole,
yes. Chipotle sauce.
Chipotle sauce, jalapenos.
Yes. And
very Mexican flavor to it.
Yes, it's very nice for the summer when it's hot. Got that little summery crisp flavor. This is the old American burger right here.
The Gold Glove burger.
The Gold Glove burger.
And what's that got on it?
It's got basically lettuce, tomato, if you choose, and pickles, onion, lots of mayonnaise, and ketchup.
Now, just in case you're trying to find the, Keith's Grill, it's behind section 132 on the field level. Now, this is nice. You not only get the burger and the chips. You got the kettle chips, which are very nice, thick kettle chips, got a nice snap to them. But as Norris yanks one foul, he had a base hit and drove in a run his first time. You not only get the burger and the chips, but this is special because only Keith's Burgers would have this. In your little basket with the burger and the kettle chips, you get the Tootsie Pop.
And
now that's very special.
I'm jealous. I switch. I was.
Oh, you're going to take my purple one?
I like purple.
Another chance for Dickey against Norris for the second out.
So anyway, yeah, this is it's a great. I like to put. To be honest with you, this is a little like throwing a little curveball. I like to put the chips in here like this, and it gives it a little more flavor.
Crunchy burger.
You can try it at home, but you don't have to.
Now here's my question. You've got these 2 very different burgers. The Gold Glove burger, which is kind of standard fare, and you've got the exotic Mex burger.
Yes.
So if you had to choose, could you choose?
Yeah, it just depends on your mood.
No, I'm asking about you.
It depends on my mood.
Oh, I see.
They both are delicious. You were happy to get the Mex burger.
I'm much more of a an unconventional burger eater. If I'm going to eat a burger, then it's got to have the bacon and the guacamole. That's how I roll.
Okay.
But I would have much preferred the purple.
Well, okay. I'm a giving guy.
No, I don't want to mess you up because I know you love the purples.
Great.
And we have to keep you happy. Michael Bourne rolls one up the line. Tough play for Tolle, and he guns down the speedy Bourne to end the inning. All right, Dickey with his first 1-2-3 inning. Get a mouthful there, Keith. Why don't you?
I will.
baseball leagues with the SNY Play Ball Award presented by Sports Authority, offering $5,000 grants to in-need organizations to be used for new equipment, uniforms, or field improvements. The deadline to apply is June 15th. For details, visit SNY.TV or any local Sports Authority location. Matt Downs is coming to play second base. Remember, Bill Hall earlier ran into the sidewalk, making a brilliant catch of a foul pop-up. This was in the second inning. And they were saying that Hall, on that play, suffered a right ankle sprain. And so he is now out of the game.
Heck of a play.
Willie Harris leading off in the home fourth. And takes a strike from Bud Norris, 1-1. It was Harris who hit that ball that Hall made that play on. So I took a bite of this Mex burger.
You like it?
It was great, but I got a big bite of jalapeno. And now my mouth can't stop watering. Pulled to the right side, and Downs just into the game. Gets his first chance, and that's the first out.
I know Al on camera 2 down there in front of us was wolfing down a burger.
Well, it's a good thing it was a good burger, because
they're very good burgers. The Brooklyn burgers, this is good quality meat.
It's outstanding. The bacon's nice and crisp.
So there you go. I prefer a burger to a hot dog at a ball game, Garrett, to be honest with you.
I'll take a note of that.
Okay. Let's refocus on the Wago here.
Daniel Murphy went down looking his first time up. Murphy making his 6th start of the year at second base. And he slaps one foul. 0-2. For the moment, it looks like Murphy and Justin Turner are going to platoon at second base. Turner played last night against the lefty and probably will play tomorrow night with the Astros starting Jay Happ, another left-hander. And as a matter of fact, Arizona's going to have a left-hander Friday night as well, Joe Saunders. Pulled, and that's a fair ball as it hits the jutting stands. It caroms right to Pence, and so Murphy has to stop at first base. So Murphy with the base hit on a 0-2 pitch. A little unlucky not to get 2 bases out of it.
Just out of the reach of Brett Wallace. Good hitting by Murph, staying back. Let go with one hand. And they were talking about that corner there, that little jut, and that'll take away doubles.
So the Mets with a 1-out base runner. Let's see if Dickey is asked to bunt. R.A.'s a good hitter.
He'll swing.
There's Justin Turner, who started last night, went 1 for 4. Made an error in the field. Now the third baseman Johnson creeps in.
Not too much. They're going to bunt.
And he fouls back the bunt attempt. Dickey hit a comebacker his first time up. So even with 1 out and a pretty good hitting pitcher at the plate, Terry Collins, at least on the first pitch, asking him to lay one down.
You know, I fell asleep at the switch there. I just thought that was an automatic double, and it was a single. Of course he's going to bunt here. What am I thinking, Lincoln?
Is that me? Not that wise. Murphy's standing right on the bag.
Well, it's the 150th year celebration for Gettysburg, and the Gettysburg Address, of course. So having a big to do in Gettysburg at the National Park this summer.
Dickey pops up the bunt, and Wallace has it for the second out. So Dickey unable to get the bunt down. He won't be happy with himself about that. He takes a lot of pride in his at-bats. So now Reyes comes up for the third time. Jose's been front and center tonight. 2 hits up the middle, 2 stolen bases, and he scored the only Met run. 12 runs scored now for Reyes on the year.
You think Murph has a green light?
Are you kidding? Were you watching over the weekend?
I sure was. That's why I begged the question.
Here's what I think. I think if you're Terry Collins, you urge Murph to score from first on a double.
Yep. And you only steal when you get a sign. That reminds me of the World Series when Colorado played, it was the Red Sox. And Matt Holliday. Remember, he got picked off trying to steal a base, and they were down like 5 runs. It was just, I mean, why are you trying to steal?
It's a little over anxious.
Coming in.
And he popped him up. The shortstop Sanchez calls everybody off and puts it away to end the inning. So Reyes retired for the first time tonight. We've played 4 innings at Citi Field, and the Astros lead it 3-1.
Couple runners on the pond tonight, trailing the Astros 3-1. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Welcome back to Citi Field. You know, Astros manager Brad Mills has some experience with knuckleballers when he was in Boston as the bench coach at Terry Francona. Of course, they had Tim Wakefield. And I asked him today, you know, as a bench coach, as a manager, what is that like with a knuckleballer on the mound? And he said, well, I would sit on the bench next to Terry when the game was about to start, when Wakefield would start. And I said, Terry, got your seatbelt on, because it was that type of ride. You just never knew. And he said the biggest thing is with a knuckleballer, especially early, you have to be patient and you have to wait a little bit, because sometimes you get those rocky first couple innings and you hope that he could kind of find it a little bit, and sometimes waiting is the hardest part. Now obviously that's the one thing that already Dickey hasn't had issue with. He's been great in the first inning of his start, but that waiting period when you get a little rocky and you hope that the knuckleballer pulls himself out of it. Mills also said, you know what, to be a knuckleballer, you know, being around Wakefield, you just have to have a special demeanor. I mean, similar thing. You have to be confident, you have to be calm, and you also have to be able to wait a little bit if you lose it at some point during the game. Be confident and patient that it'll come back to you. Guys, back to you and your Brooklyn Burgers.
You caught us in mid-bite. Sanchez hits one out to center field, and Pagan ranges back. One away. Well, Kevin, you're standing out there out in deep right center field. What does the knuckleball look like from out there?
You know, I don't know that you appreciate it as much. I mean, I think you certainly see it dart down, but I feel like when I sit next to the Mets dugout, it looks like it moves a lot more, to be honest with you. I mean, if you came into this game and maybe didn't know that R.A. Dickey was a knuckleballer, some of his pitches are hard enough where you would think that, you know, maybe even it's a hard slider out here. But I love the vantage point. It's like the center field camera guys. It's a great shot out here.
That's the view that Kevin has from out there.
You're kind of far away to get a full appreciation of the knuckleball. Actually, be a little off center behind home plate would be a great seat to be able to fully appreciate the movement of a knuckleball. That's my favorite camera angle here.
0-2 to Pence, and that one gets away from Tolle. It's strike 3. Can he get to it in time? He makes the long throw, and he can't get Pence, who arrives safely. It's a strikeout for Dickey. And Pence reaches first base on what I assume will be a pass ball.
So, out of curiosity, Garrett, it's the scoring question. why wouldn't that be called a strikeout and it's an error to the catcher because he didn't catch it? You see my point?
Well, because when a catcher doesn't catch a pitch, it's a pass ball as opposed to an error. You're saying there shouldn't be such a thing as pass balls?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's the same thing as if there was a runner at first. David Wright's got it, hesitates, gets the out at second. Murphy turns it over for the double play. 5-4-3 to double up Carlos Lee. And that works sticky through the inning despite the pass ball. Halfway through, it's 3-1 Houston. That double play.
Look at Murph. Jeez, I think it was Bill Mazeroski. Nice turn. Look at that. Beautiful cheat.
Did he stay on the bag?
He was close enough. Very nicely done.
He's learning. It's a work in progress for Murph, who hasn't had to turn a lot of double plays even in spring training. It just hasn't come up very often. But came across the bag nicely that time. Josh Thole leads off in the home fifth. Struck out, flied out 0 for 2. Josh just 6 for his last 33 after a strong start. A ball and a strike from Bud Norris. David Wright on deck, then Carlos Beltran as the Mets try and put something together here in the fifth. They had chances in the first when they loaded the bases with 1 out, didn't score. And then again in the third when they got their run, they left runners at first and third. David Stephen Norris. He became Bud at age 3 when he was out to dinner with his parents and asked for a beer.
Really?
Yes. I guess a particular brand of beer. And ever since, he's been known as Bud.
Well, you can say it. They're a sponsor. This isn't the board up there. Grab some Buds.
He's just trying to be oblique. Swing and a miss, and Thole is struck out again. Boy, it's been a rash for Josh Thole. Second time he's been fanned tonight. And that's 5 now for Norris. So now David Wright with 1 out. Let's check in with Kevin.
Guys, I asked David Wright if he has moved closer to the plate at all this year, and he said, I haven't. So, trying to be more consistent with everything. And I think if anything, if there's a point where maybe I'm not seeing the inside pitch or hitting the inside pitch too well, maybe I'll back off a step or two, and vice versa. If I'm not doing that with the outside pitch, maybe I'll move a step or two closer, but that's it. He said, last couple weeks, I don't feel like I've moved much closer at all. as far as going the other way, he said, look, I know when I'm going the other way, I'm going good, but I haven't made a conscious effort to do it. You know, until this slump, he was going the other way very well with power, but now trying to get that back, guys.
Now finds himself in an 0 for 17 hole, and you see fully half of his hits have gone to right field this year, and several of his outs as well.
Good strike. This kid, I tell you, when he nips the corners,
he's a little inconsistent, but he certainly shows a lot of promise.
Tell you what, he's one of those guys you can go up there and get 4 pitches and go sit down.
And the hook misses inside, 1-2.
And next time you go up there, he'll throw you a couple over the middle.
Carlos Beltran, 2 more hits, and the Mets' only RBI again tonight, standing on deck. Now Norris ahead on right, 1-2. And can't put him away, 2-2. I mean, that's a good sign for David that, he's able to lay off that slider out of the strike zone, because generally when he's struggling, that's a pitch he's chasing.
Wants another slider. The catcher wanted the fastball in.
And this one he does chase. And it's back-to-back strikeouts for Norris. 6 of them tonight, and 2 of them against David Wright, who's now 0 for his last 18.
Well, out of the strike zone, he chases and reaches. We've all been fooled like that. And we'll watch David's beginning of his take back. Now, that's good. Big leg kick. It's like Darrell's.
Beltran broke his bat, had an infield hit on the first, and then drove one to the gap in left center for a double to drive and a run. You can see the strikeouts mounting for David.
This kid is having a very strong inning. Watch that. There's a hanging slider. That's the Mets' lone run.
Well, a few mistakes Norris has made tonight. Beltran took advantage of it for his 8th run batted in and his 5th double. I would fouls that one at the plate.
Another good down and in slider. And I think as a pitching coach, and I'm sure Ron Darling would agree, when you have a young pitcher out there, this is going through the teeth of the order. Totally right. Beltran, Davis, and you'd love to see a young pitcher have such a strong inning against the meat of the order like this. He has just been throwing the heck out of the ball this inning.
And what's been particularly impressive is that coming into the game, he had struggled so badly against the left-hand hitters, but clearly has come in with a game plan tonight.
Yep, they're 10 for 26 with 2 home runs. Lefties coming into this game. That's a 385 batting average.
1-2 to Beltran, and he hits this one into right center field. Coming on his pitch to dive, and he loses it. Beltran will take the turn and head for second as Bourne tracks it down, and Beltran slides in safely with his 2nd double of the night. Nice effort by Hunter Pence.
God, he had it, and it came out. He had it, and on the contact with the ground, it popped out. And another nice at bat by Beltran. And he loves that high ball. And once that ball pops out, those are easy strides, the graceful, easy strides of Carlos.
So he's 3 for 3 tonight with a pair of doubles. That's the 2nd ball in this series that Pence has dived for in right center. He missed the ball by Pagan as well last night. So now Davis at the plate as the tying run. Got his average up to 300 with an infield hit his last time up. And Ike takes a strike.
Well, the IOTV pitch differential, that's all it takes right there. That is around 3 inches over the middle, and that's the difference.
Off the plate to Davis, and it's 1-1.
Do you like the socks that Ike's got on? I mean, there's no stirrups.
Well,
I think they're ugly.
If you're going to go with the traditional uniform, the kind of off-white pinstripes and the blue, it would be nice to see stirrups, but
it's ugly, if you ask me.
Well, I like to see sock.
I do too.
Can't be choosy sometimes. Tolles and Johnson And Tolles makes the grab to end the inning. So Ike fouls out. Mets waste a 2-out double from Beltran, and we've played 5 now at Citi Field with the Astros up 3-1. Sixth inning, 3-1 Houston. And Brett Wallace leads off and lines one beyond the reach of Murphy for a leadoff base hit. So Wallace, who has handled the knuckleball well tonight, has his second hit off R.A. Dickey. 6 hits now for the Astros. And a leadoff base runner in the 6th. And that'll bring up Chris Johnson, who had an infield hit in the 2nd and then pulled one down the right field line for a double in the 3rd. So he's 2 for 2. Johnson impressed last year in half a season, hit .308 for the Astros. Off to a tough start this year, but having a good night tonight. And he takes a knee-high strike from Dickey, 0-1. Johnson taking a look down at Dave Clark, the third base coach, to see what might be on here. 0-1 the count to Johnson. And he lines one to short. One hopper snagged by Reyes, and the rest should be easy as Murphy turns it over for the 6-4-3 double play. A shot hit by Johnson, but Reyes handles it no problem.
Beautiful play by Jose here. Nice, plays it nice long hop. And Murph with a nice turn.
Well, every second baseman has their own way of using the bag, and this is clearly what Murph has become comfortable with, coming across, kicking it, and coming to the inside to make his throw. He's done that 2 innings in a row. And Dickey has his second double play. And there's a strike to Matt Downs, who's batting for the first time. Downs came on to play second base when Bill Hall had to leave the game with a sprained right ankle, the result of that catch he made in foul ground early in the game. Downs, the former San Francisco Giant. Reyes with a little tape on that finger there. Don't know if that's given him a lot of trouble. Out to right center field, and Pagan ranging over. Puts it away to end the inning. A quick inning for R.A. Dickey through just 6 pitches. Middle of the 6th, still 3-1 Houston. Breakdown of tonight's Mets-Astros matchup, plus all the latest team news and rumors on Mets blog, presented by Verizon, featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Well, the Mets had scored just 6 runs in their last 4 games heading into tonight. They've been held to 1 run and 7 hits over the first 5 innings tonight.
Boy, look how they're shading Pagan over Bourne in center field, way over in left center field, and in at the corner at third base.
First baseman back, maybe set up for a nice drag bunt. And Pagan shows bunt and takes a strike.
Another good breaking ball on the outside corner. This kid is impressive tonight.
Bud Norris looking for his 2nd win of the year after winning a 1-0 game his last time out, and a comebacker past the mound. Sanchez to his left, a quick toss, and he got him. Close play at first base. Angel Sanchez, who does not have a particularly strong arm, got it there quickly to get Pagan.
Well, we'll watch Pagan's take back. He's been out in front. Let's see, there's a difference here. Let's see when he starts going back. And see, now watch him already. He's out in front. Fanny flew out a little bit better. But this is a nice play by Sanchez, who hasn't got a strong arm, and they just got Pagan.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Willie Harris, and he takes ball 1.
Well, he gets rid of it fast. You can see it's not an arm of Jose Reyes. He got him. Good call.
That's how you compensate for not having the best arm.
Hey, Ozzie Smith did not have a great arm.
DJ Carrasco up in the Mets bullpen.
Ozzie always threw hard enough to get the runner by a half step or a step. He was uncanny. I like that word.
I know you do. Harris pulls one down the right field line. That's an extra base hit going to the corner. Bobbled around by Pence for a moment, and Harris stops at second base with his 5th double of the year.
Good hitting here. Turns on a pitch in. Up and in fastball. Hey, that's a good pitch. He just turned on it. Good hitting, good pitch. Sometimes the pitchers have got to tip their cap to the hitter.
Well, the Mets now have 8 hits against Bud Norris. Looking for another big hit. They've had only one of those. Carlos Beltran's RBI double in the 3rd.
Well, Murph got a base hit down the right field line on a changeup away. Let's see how they pitch him.
Tying run at the plate in a 3-1 game in the 6th. Down for ball 1. The Mets now have 8 hits in the game. 3 of them are doubles. They have a couple of stolen bases. Justin Turner out on deck to pinch hit for R.A. Dickey. Mets looking to turn chances into runs. Hit in the air deep down the right field line. Hit it toward the pole, and it's out of here. Daniel Murphy ties the game with a 2-run homer. His first home run of the year, and it's a 3-3 ball game. How badly did this team need that?
Fastball does not get in enough. No, right down the middle. And Daniel just turns. And this ball was not going to hook. Hit too hard.
2 years ago, Daniel Murphy led the Mets in home runs with just a dozen, and that's his first home run since 2009. And now, with the game tied, Dickey can stay in. They had Turner out on deck to bat for him, but Murphy's home run keeps Dickey in the game.
That saves the bullpen. And that is hopefully an inspiring home run.
Only the Mets' 11th home run. This is their 18th game. And the first for Murph. And it's that kind of at bat, especially if Murphy can continue to turn double plays the way he has tonight, and it's going to keep him in the lineup.
It's funny, a guy cruising right along,
Past the mound. Sanchez again to his left and makes the quick toss to get Dickey. Almost the same play made against Pagan. 2 out.
All right. Here's the IOTV pitch differential. Catcher sets up in, and that's all it takes, folks, especially when it's down. So left-hand hitter. They say it's a game of inches.
Sometimes millimeters. But we don't play baseball in the metric system.
Thank goodness.
Sure, because that would be, what, 28.7 meters to first base?
Oh, please.
Who needs that?
Awful.
Let's say Reyes takes ball 1. Reyes is 2 for 3, 2 singles, 2 stolen bases, and a run scored tonight. Mets were down 3-0 in this game, but Beltran's double drove in a run in the 3rd. Murphy's 2-run homer in the 6th has tied it.
This is the Met uniform I like the best.
I like the way they've made it slightly off-white.
Yes.
Kind of like the old Met uniform. 1-2 to Reyes.
I never liked the piping on the shoulders that we had to adorn.
You guys had a lot of piping.
Yes, we did. A lot of pipes, too.
And all natural.
Yes, you're right.
Norris up to 100 pitches on the night. And Reyes slaps one foul. And that left hand is clearly giving Reyes some trouble. You saw the tape on his left hand when he took off his glove earlier, and now after the foul ball, shaking that left hand again.
Yep, no question. And when you got a hitter with his hands hurt, crowd him, pitch him inside.
One-two from Norris. Goes away with the fastball. 2-2. Looked like it was his left middle finger that had the majority of that tape on it when he took off his glove earlier. Of course, the Mets already have a player with a troubled middle finger, Bobby Parnell, out with circulatory issues in his pitching middle finger. Popped up by Reyes, foul and coming back.
Well, I just got a feel right now, particularly with this club struggling there offensively, that you got to run Murph out there as much as you can.
Yep. Well, except you got lefties going the next 2 days, so.
Yep.
And he would not. Terry would not pinch hit Murph against a lefty last night. Remember, Reyes pops another one at foul ground. Johnson over for a look, but that's beyond his reach. Terry said after the game, after he used Chin-Lung-Hu against the left-hander, he said, I had no intention of hitting Murph against the lefty. So that makes me think he's not going to start him against the lefty.
They're going to give Turner a chance to play. Try to catch lightning in a bottle. Get a minor leaguer up that's hitting 300 coming up.
8th pitch of the at-bat to Reyes, and he hits one hard to the hole, and he has his 3rd hit of the night. So, hand barking or not, Reyes continues to swing the bat well. And now the tie-breaking run on base, and you can anticipate Reyes looking for his 3rd steal of the night. Let's look at his lead distance so far tonight. This was the first one. 12 feet 8 inches on that lead, and then in the 3rd inning, a little bit longer.
So getting a little more bold and daring, maybe getting more acclimated to the pitcher.
So now he will set about getting the lead as Mark Melanson gets up in the bullpen. And Tolley hits one in the air to left, chasing Lee back. Lee going back. Oh, it's the grab. Carlos Lee, El Caballo getting ahead of steam and running it down to take an extra base hit away from Tolley and keep this game tied. If this ball goes over his head, Reyes scoots home from first base.
El Cabang.
But Daniel Murphy's 2-run homer, his first of the year, gets the game even. 3-3. Out for the 7th. Tomorrow, Chris Capuano goes to the mound. Kevin Burkhardt caught up with Capuano before the game and talked to him about taking the reins when a team is struggling.
You want to be the one to go out there and go 7-8 solid innings, maybe a complete game if you can. But you want to take your team deep into the game. Hold the other team to a minimum of runs and provide a needed lift for the team. And I think every pitcher, coming off of a loss or a couple of losses wants to be that guy.
How hard is it? There's a fine line there, I imagine, between taking that bull by the horns, but also, I guess, trying not to do too much and just kind of doing your thing, right?
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, when we go out there as pitchers, the biggest thing we fight sometimes is exactly what you said: trying to do too much, overthrowing, not trusting your stuff, not trying to be too perfect with your pitches, and going through a losing streak or a tough streak. Those are all things that any person has a normal tendency to do. So you do have to make sure you stay within yourself, trust your stuff, and just keep it simple. Focus on hitting the glove with your stuff.
How do you know when it's going to be a good game for you? I mean, can you tell early? Can you tell in the bullpen? I mean, what is the thing, the sign to you that says, all right, I got something good today?
I think you can usually, I don't like to use the bullpen as a gauge of how I'm going to perform in the game. It really is just a warm-up, but sometimes you can sense if you have a little extra movement or if a certain pitch feels a little extra good that day. You have that going into the game, but very often it's not until you throw that first pitch or to the first batter in the game, and your game stuff kind of shows up, and it might be something totally different than you had in the bullpen. But you learn pretty quick once the game gets going what pitches are working for you that day, and it's important to if a pitch isn't working, not say, oh my God, what am I going to do? This pitch isn't working. Rather, what is working for me today? How can I use that to win? Sure.
The Chris Capuano interview brought to you by the Xerox Business of Baseball. Xerox, ready for real business. So J.R. Tolles gets hit in the shoulder by a pitch to start this 7th inning, and then Brad Mills sends up Joe Inglet to pinch hit. And I thought that was interesting because Mills only has one left-handed bat on the bench. The Mets have a ton of right-handed relief pitchers, and he used the lefty against the knuckleballer.
He could have left his pitcher in there or pinch hit a pitcher with his best bunter and bunt the runner over and get him in scoring position.
And then he also has some good right-handed bats on the bench, with Jason Michaels primary among them. Mark Melanson, the former Yankee, up in the bullpen. So now Mills is out of left-handed pinch hitters. Hit to the right side by Bourne. Murphy knocks it down, scrambles after it, but has no play against the speedy Bourne. Well, Murph was trying to keep it on the infield and in front of him, but couldn't make the play quick enough on the speedy Bourne.
Well, he had it on the short hop, but it just didn't get the glove on it and close it. And that, in my book, should be an error.
They scored a base hit. So now the go-ahead run at second base with one out, and Angel Sanchez steps in. Sanchez 0 for 3 tonight. A comebacker, a strikeout, and a fly ball to center. So the Astros now have 7 hits against Dickey, who had really settled in after giving up 3 runs back in the second. And that knuckleball dances inside, 1-0. So Dickey able to stay in the game because of the Murphy 2-run homer that got the Mets even. Now Murphy unable to come up with that infield single by Bourne, and Dickey's in trouble. But a double play ball right to right gets the out at third and across to first. And for the 3rd straight inning, the Mets turn a double play on the infield to get Dickey through the inning. So now it's 7th inning stretch time, and Carlos Beltran is having a huge night. 3 for 3, his first 3-hit game of the year. He'll be up for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th. They head back home to continue their playoff push. Plus a preview of tomorrow's Mets-Astros series finale in the Wheelhouse, presented by Pepsi, part of the New York Sports Local, tomorrow at 5:30 on SNY. It's still a playoff push when you're down 2-0. Mark Melancon takes over the pitching for the Astros in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, the former Yankee was traded to the Astros in that Lance Berkman deal last July 31st. Pitched in 20 games last year for Houston and a 3.12 ERA in 17 1/3. He's off to a hot start this year.
He's been the hottest relief pitcher in that Astros bullpen at the beginning of the year for a Houston team that has let a lot of late leads get away. 3-3 in the bottom of the 7th. Mets will have the heart of the batting order. Wright, Beltran, and Davis to greet Melancon. Bud Norris threw 106 pitches over 6 innings, allowed 3 runs and 10 hits. Walked 1, struck out 6, gave up 1 home run. The 2-run shot to Murphy that tied the game in the 6th. And if not for a fabulous play by Carlos Lee to end that 6th inning, Mets might have the lead in this game. Lee going back on a ball hit by Josh Tolley. Able to snag it at the edge of the track to keep Reyes from scoring from first. Lee's having some fun with the fans out in the stands in left field. They're giving El Caballo some grief, and he's giving it right back. David Wright, a walk and 2 strikeouts tonight. 0 for his last 18. Just 1 at bat shy of his longest dry spell in his major league career. In April of 08, he had a stretch where he went 0 for 19. Beltran is at the big bat tonight on deck.
Melancon really lifts that front shoulder and comes right over the top.
Melancon had 8 straight scoreless innings until Sunday, when he gave up 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 4 runs overall in 2/3 of an inning against the Padres, and took the loss. Just off the plate with the fastball. 2-1.
But watch the front shoulder go up, and that hides the ball, and he comes right over the top. Big strong kid.
Grew up in Colorado, and he misses high to right. It's 3-1.
Nice to get a little comeback victory. The Mets need it.
And David watches outside, ball 4, and the Mets have the leadoff man on in the bottom of the 7th. Second time that David has walked tonight. Those are the only 2 walks given up by Houston pitching. Pitching coach Brett Arnsberg on the phone as Beltran comes to bat. A broken bat single his first time up.
And he had a hanging slider, a really good at bat. He was 0-2 in that count. And then another good rip right there, just out of the reach of Hunter Pence.
So a single and 2 doubles for Beltran, his first 3-hit game of the year. It has been 4 years since Carlos Beltran's last 4-hit game. June 30th of 2007 in Philadelphia. The last time that Beltran had 4 hits in a game. He's done it 19 times in his career.
I knew the left-hander would get up with this heavily overladen left-handed lineup.
Fernando Abad, the only lefty in that Houston bullpen. In tight to Beltran, 1-1.
Carlos has got the average up to 291.
Ike Davis on deck. Behind him, Angel Pagan. Downs comes in to get it. Out at second. Sanchez holds on. That's the first out of the inning. Not hit hard enough for the Astros to turn 2. And Beltran's on at first with 1 out.
Don't be surprised if you see Carlos maybe attempt to steal the base. We'll see. It's got to be really eating at his craw. A player that was such a part of his game, Garrett, that all of a sudden through age and injury, it's a part of the game that he was always a smart base stealer too.
Yeah, a very careful base stealer.
And this would be a perfect time for him to do it in a tie ball game late.
I just don't know if he feels up to it.
I know. I hear you.
Wallace holds against him as Ike Davis steps in. Ike is 1 for 3 on the night. And Melanson again missing wide, 1-0. Ike had an infield single back in the third. Pagan on deck. And Ike slaps one to third. Johnson to second for one. Downs on to first. In time for the double play, and the side retired. So after the Mets turn double plays 3 straight innings, the Astros go around the horn. On to the 8th we go. 3-3 ball game. By Atlantic City Food and Wine Festival, July 28th through the 31st. Visit acfoodandwine.com for details. By Audi and by Verizon 4G LTE, rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world. R.A. Dickey's still out there chucking in the 8th inning. They've seen the heart of the batting order for the Astros. Hunter Pence leads off and hits the knuckleball in the air, foul off the left side. And that hits him to the crowd, 0-1. Let's take a look at the AT&T trivia question for tonight. In 1962, when the Mets went 40 and 120, what was their longest winning streak?
Do you know the answer?
I do not.
Think Howie would?
He might. He's a little older than I am. Don't tell him I said that.
I knew that.
Yeah, but the rest of the world might not have. 1-1 depends. Well, Jason Isringhausen, newly anointed as the Mets' 8th inning guy, up in the 8th inning. And Pence drives one to deep left field. Forget it. The Astros grab the lead as Hunter Pence hits his 2nd home run of the year, and it's 4-3 Houston. Pence, the first Astro this year to hit more than 1 home run. And it's a go-ahead home run.
Well, you can't keep a good man down, as they say, right? Pence 0 for 4 last night, 0 for 2 tonight coming into this at bat. And what's he do? Get a big hit late.
2nd home run that Dickey's allowed this season. Now Carlos Lee lays off and takes a strike.
Let's take a peek. Knuckler. That doesn't knuckle. Yep. Stayed straight as a string.
The Astros had gone to this point in the season through 17 games with no player with more than 1 home run. That's the longest any major league team has gone into the season without a player hitting 2 or more home runs since 1996, Kansas City. But now Pence has broken out of that by hitting his 2nd.
Right on it.
The Mercedes-Benz Ultra Mode brought to you by your tri-state dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com. Pence with 25 home runs each of the last 3 years. And Lee pops one up. Ike Davis taking charge. And that's the first out of the inning. Let's check in with the studio. Chris Carlin is there with the New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Thanks, Chris. It's probably between Jared Weaver and Josh Johnson right now for who has been the most outstanding pitcher over the first 3 weeks of the season. Brett Wallace takes ball 1. Johnson was magnificent again last night. Was he 3-0 with a 1 ERA? Weaver came in 4-0 with an ERA of like 1.2. It's hard to decide between them. Nice grab by Dickey on the comebacker. He's had an active night on the field. That's his 6th comebacker. And thus his 6th assist of the night. So 2 out of the inning, and Chris Johnson coming up. By the way, this is the longest that a Mets starter has gone into a game this year. Now 7 2/3 for Dickey. However, finds himself on the short end. Johnson tonight 2 for 3, a single, a double, grounded into a double play, and he pulls one down to David Wright, who is playing the line. Properly so, throws out Johnson to end the inning. So Dickey finishes 8th, first Met pitcher to do that, but Hunter Pence snaps the tie. His 2nd home run of the season into the stands and left gives the Astros a 4-3 lead going to the bottom of the 8th. R.A. Dickey has put Houston back in front. And R.A. hoping his teammates can come back against the left-hander Fernando Abad in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, Abad threw an inning last night. No runs. Didn't give up a hit. Runner reached on an error.
Jason Bourgeois will play left field for defense. He'll bat 9th. And the pitcher will hit 4th with Carlos Lee coming out. Bond will take on Angel Pagan, then Willie Harris is scheduled, and then Daniel Murphy, a switch hitter, and then 2 left-hand batters. Scott Hairston has come out on deck. Or he has not come out on deck to bat for Harris. Harris is out there. at least for the moment.
Pagan 1 for 16 from the right side of the plate.
Murphy in the hole. So big at bat for Pagan, trying to get aboard to lead off this bottom of the 8th. And he takes it wide for ball 1. The corners are both in this time against Pagan.
First baseman not guarding the line.
Angel 2 fly balls and a ground ball tonight. Just 2 for his last 25. But ahead in the count now, 2-0.
Well, this is how it started last night for Abad. To get falling behind the hitter.
Mark Melanson is now pitcher of record on the long side. There's a strike, 2-1. Melanson walked the leadoff hitter in the 7th, but got the benefit of a double play. Faced just 3 batters in that 7th. After Bud Norris went the first 6.
No, big pitch right here. Hitters count.
And Angel pops one foul and out of play, 2-2.
Boy, that was a pitch to hit. Well, when you're struggling like this, Gary, you get a pitch right down the pipe like that one was. No sink. Watch this. Straight as a string, right down Broadway. Ball screaming, here, hit me, and you miss it. And that's what happens when you go bad. Another changeup.
And he reaches for it and fouls it off. Now, are you seeing the same things with Pagan as a right-hand batter that you're seeing from the left side?
Not as pronounced. The shoulder pulling out and up and out. Not as pronounced. I haven't seen him hit right-handed in a while, for crying out loud. I'll watch intently. Good cut there. No, he's swinging much better from the right side. Gee, he tucks that shoulder. That's a good cut. Good cut.
Right now, Angels batting average is 167 for the year. Giving a good accounting of himself in this at bat. And that changeup misses badly, and it's 3-2. So now Pagan will see the 9th pitch of the at bat from Abad, and he fouls back the fastball, and the battle continues. Again, the 3-2. And he walked him. Want to turn it back for Angel Pagan. A 10-pitch walk to start the bottom of the 8th. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. What was the Mets' longest winning streak in 62? No, 3 games. Well, they only won 40. They had a 3-game winning streak in May and another one in August of that year. Jose Valdez, recently up from the minor leagues, is up in the Houston bullpen. Willie Harris, though, will stay in against the left-hander Abad. Harris doubled and scored a run in the 6th inning, and he's up there to bunt and takes a strike. So at least on that first pitch, Terry Collins playing for the sacrifice with Murphy and then the pitcher's spot due up behind Harris.
Well, I know we're late in the game here, but this 4 men on the bench is just a killer. You know, you're not going to use Nikias, so in essence, you really only have 3 bench players.
And Harris misses the bunt attempt, and it's 0-2. What I find interesting here is that last night, Terry would not use Murphy against the left-hand pitcher Wandy Rodriguez and used HOU instead. Yet he's letting both Harris and presumably Murphy bat against the lefty Abad here.
Experiment over.
Well, so Hairston, the right-handed bat, without a bat in his hand. Whereas HOU appears to be getting ready for a pinch hit assignment. And that's certainly a reversal of fortune.
Well, Hairston or Turner are going to pinch hit for Dickey if it comes to Dickey's turn. He's the 4th hitter in this inning.
Well, I presume HOU was getting his batting gloves on to hit for Dickey. Too high to Harris, 1-2. Whereas Hairston is standing there leaning on the railing. The evaluations continue. When the team's 5-12, nothing remains static. Pagan almost was leaning the wrong way, but Abad doesn't have a great move, and so Pagan gets back. Angel has 4 steals this year, 37 last year.
He was going to go. Oh, he almost got a skate save there.
The foot does not count as the base. Trying to measure that lead, and Abad again tosses over there.
Abad does not have a good move to first.
Well, Harris was up there bunting on the first 2 pitches. No bunt now with 2 strikes. Let's have 2 steals tonight, both by Reyes. And the breaking ball off the plate. 2-2 to Harris. Well, Willie has fared well against lefties so far this year. 3 hits and 7 at-bats against southpaws. Trying to come through here against Abad with the tying run at first and nobody out. And he swings and misses the fastball, and that's the first out of the inning. So Abad strikes out Harris.
Overpowered him here on a fastball away. I think this lefty's a good matchup for Murph. Put a hit and run on.
So tonight Daniel Murphy does get a chance to bat against the left-hander in the late innings. He has a single and a 2-run homer tonight, 2 for 3. Tied the game with his first home run of the year in the 6th. Now bats with the tying run at first in the 8th. And Murph takes a strike, 0-1.
It just looks like Abad has neutralized the running game of the Mets. Pagan with four stolen bases on the year.
1-1 to Murphy. And here's the home run.
Nope. Missed over the middle. Nice at bat by Murph. That ball was crushed.
That's where the home runs are in this ballpark. Down the line. Murphy hit his down the line and right. Pence hit his down the line and left. There goes Pagan, and Murphy hits it right through the vacated hole. Hit and run base hit. Pagan goes first to third, and the Mets have the tying run at third with 1 out. Murphy's 3rd hit of the game. This one against the left-hander.
Well, here, perfect guy to hit and run with right here. He goes the other way. Watch the shortstop vacate. Nicely done.
Well, Pagan was not looking back, so it looks like that was a straight steal that worked out well. In any event, now Justin Turner will bat for R.A. Dickey, with the Mets needing a fly ball at least to get the game tied. Brad Mills will head to the mound and bring in a right-hander. They've got Brandon Lyon, their closer, out there. They could go to him for a 5-out save. They also had Jose Valdez up. It's a tough 5-out save when you come in
not in today's
with
game.
the tying run at third and 1 out in the 8th. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Lincoln, so it's going to be Jose Valdez to come in with the Mets trying to get it tied at least in the 8th inning. Comes in to make just his second major league appearance.
Well, 8 years in the minor leagues. This young man back in 2000 was drafted by the Yankees. As Gary said, made his major league debut Sunday versus the Padres. Had a good spring training for this club, and that's just recalled from Oklahoma City.
Pagan is at third carrying the tying run. Murphy is on first with one out. Justin Turner, who made his season debut for the Mets last night, started at second base, went 1 for 4. He's pinch hitting for R.A. Dickey, with the Mets poised to try and tie this game or grab the lead.
Could you squeeze? Play for the win at home, I understand.
Got a lot of speed at third and Pagan. Reyes is on deck. And Turner lines one foul. Got a little quick and pulled the off-speed pitch foul. 0-1. Justin Turner hit 300 at Buffalo this year before his call-up.
Back at the infield corners, holding a runner on third base, back off outfield, shaded to opposite field.
0-1 to Turner, and Justin pops one up in foul ground. Wallace coming over near the dugout and just runs out of room. 0-2 to Turner. Mets have had 11 hits in this game, but they were one shy in the 8th. 3 hits apiece for Reyes, Beltran, and Murphy. But they need at least a fly ball from Turner. Not all that deep a one. You got Pagan at third with the tying run. K-Rod and Izzy both up in the bullpen. Oh, 2 from Valdez, and Turner fouls it back.
Good upstairs fastball right there. Out of the strike zone. They wanted, I see the catcher sitting up high.
Again, the 0-2. And Turner just got a piece to stay alive. But God wasn't sure that was a foul ball. He came dashing to the plate just in case.
Barely. This is a split finger here. Watch the bottom drop out. Oh, it's a slider. Excuse me. That's barely getting a piece.
So Turner hanging on by the skin of his teeth. One half of the Mets second base platoon has come through tonight. Now the other trying to get something done. And Turner does strike out. Here comes Pagan for the plate. The tag by Valdez, and they get him to end the inning. Pagan on a short wild pitch trying to score as Turner struck out. But Toles got to it, and Valdez put the blind tag on against Pagan for the third out of the inning.
And Pagan never got to the bag.
Mets still down by a run. Joe Pagan trying to score from third on a short wild pitch, but didn't get there.
Watch the feet. Never touched home plate. His feet came up. That's your Coors Light freeze cam. Not a good slide. He's out. Never touched home plate. Terrible slide.
Good awareness by Valdez to get there in time to make the tag. Now Matt Downs leads off in the 9th inning against Izzy and takes a strike. 4th appearance for Isringhausen, who gave up a home run to Jason Hayward in Atlanta in his last outing on Sunday, then pitched an effective inning after that. Good fastball upstairs to Downs, and it's 0-2. J.R. Tolles on deck, and then Jason Bourgeois for the Astros in the 9th. Mets will have the top of the batting order coming up in the bottom of the 9th, presumably against the Astros closer Brandon Lyon. So Izzy intent on keeping it a 1-run game. And the breaking ball down and away, 1-2. 38-year-old Jason Isringhausen, 12 years removed from his last stint as a Met. 3 Tommy John surgeries behind him. And all of a sudden in a very prominent role with Bobby Parnell going to the disabled list. Izzy will be the 8th inning guy for the moment. Downs pops one up, and Daniel Murphy steadies under it. 1 away. Let's check in with Kevin.
And I asked Jason Isringhausen, guys, at age 38, 3 Tommy John surgeries behind him. Why? Why continue to play? His answer: the connection between me and the hitter is just hard to let go. I can't find that feeling anywhere else. They say the hitters will tell you when to go home. When they tell me, I'll go home. Guys?
Well, he misses his wife, he misses his kids, but he also misses the competition.
It's in your blood. It's hard to give it up.
J.R. Tolles has had 7 plate appearances in this series and reached base 6 times. Tonight a walk and hit in the shoulder by a pitch. Flied out in between, the only time it's been retired. R.A. Dickey went 8 innings, first Met to do that this year. Gave up 4 runs, 8 hits, and for the moment he's on the hook. Mets appeared to be poised to at least get even in this game, but boy, the way this team is going right now, something goes wrong every day.
It's amazing, and just go in there and slide and touch home plate. The right play by Pagan. He had it.
I think you're right.
He's safe. He just didn't touch the bag.
And you know, it's funny. We talk all the time about that slide to the back of the bag where guys touch with their hand and how it's not a great play. In that case, with the pitcher retreating like that, that might have been the better play.
But even if Lou Brock always said the closest the distance between point A and point B is a straight line, and he did beat the tag. He just his foot hit the ground and came up.
I'm just thinking with the pitcher backing in toward home plate like that, if you go in the backside, maybe he doesn't have a chance to get anywhere near him. But that's all hindsight now. 2-2 now to Tolles with 1 out. And Izzy's overhand curveball is fouled off. He's thrown a lot of those curveballs over the last 20 years or so. First came up with the Mets in '95. And he was spectacular, going 9-2 the second half of that year.
Well, that curve has always been his bread and butter.
He wore 44 back in his first go-round with the Mets in the 90s. And there was some talk during spring training that if Izzy made the ball club, as you look at Brandon Lyon up in the bullpen for Houston, that Izzy might request from Jason Bay that they switch numbers. But when Izzy got here last week, he said, you know what, it's just too much trouble. I'm not going to ask Jason to do that.
No, you can't. Pitcher can't ask an everyday player for his uniform.
So you know whose number he's wearing instead? His old buddy John Franco.
Well, good. You see, compromise.
Fly ball out into right field. And Carlos Beltran right there. That's the second out. Tomorrow, Chris Capuano makes the start against Jay Happ as the Mets close out their series against the Astros here at Citi Field. Mets-Astros coverage begins with Pepsi Max pregame live tomorrow at 6:30, only on SNY. Chris Capuano fighting an inflated ERA against Happ Another very talented left-hander who's off to a slow start. And that's the matchup for the final game of the series tomorrow. Now Jason Bourgeois bats for the first time. Came on in a double switch for defense. And the speedy right-hand batter takes high for ball one. Of course, John Franco didn't start out with number 45 as a Met. He started out with 31, but he changed numbers when Mike Piazza came aboard.
Much like our colleague Ron Darling changed numbers.
Foul tip, 1-1.
Ronnie came up with number 12.
Well, he wore 12, he wore 44, he wore 15. He had at least 3 numbers.
Ronnie's so complex.
He is. He's multifaceted and multi-numbered. Good curveball by Izzy for a strike, 1-2. Michael Bourne on deck. That's a lot. Reyes, Tolle, and Wright due up, and if anybody gets on, Beltran, who's had a big night. 1-2. And Bourgeois takes the curveball low and away, 2-2. Mets have lost 7 of 8 games here at Citi Field. You know the last time the Mets started a year 1-7 at home? They played at the Polo Grounds.
Oh, that far?
1962.
Wow.
Line the other way, a foul ball. And a nice grab by Anthony, who's gotten plenty of YouTube time over the last week. After his spectacular catch, this was more mundane.
Oh, piece of cake.
Anthony's become a cult figure since his great catch last week. Two and two to Bourgeois. A little tap or foul. That goes Sports Night, your nightly source for all things New York sports. Tonight, a look at the Knicks' injury problems. The Rangers at the Garden trying to get even in their series with the Caps. And they announced the schedule yesterday in the NFL. Will they play any of the games? That goes Sports Night all night, every night, starting at 10:30 p.m. only on SNY.
Giants and Jets hook up.
Christmas Eve.
Jets are the home team.
It's a Jets home game. That's all we care about. It's the 2-2. And Bourgeois pops one up shallow center. Murphy out to make the call. And the catch side retired. Izzy sets him down 1-2-3. Now Reyes at the top of the order comes up with the Mets down a run at the bottom of the ninth. Why is brought to you by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. By Honda.
by Geico, by AT&T Rethink Possible, and by Acura. Last of the ninth, Brandon Lyon comes on to try and save it for Houston.
Well, the veteran Lyon, former Diamondback, blew his first chance save of the season, his first time out, but has 3 saves in a row. But you saw the ERA over 5. Lefties hitting .429 against him, righties .368.
Reyes is 3 for 4 tonight and 4 for 5 in his career against Brandon Lyon. And he takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Reyes twice has singled to center and then singled into right his last time up. He's stolen 2 bases. He scored a run. Tolley to follow, and then David Wright. Mets have 11 hits tonight, but they're shy a run in the bottom of the ninth. And Reyes gets tied up, and he went around 0-2.
Lyon, a sinker ball pitcher.
He's been an off and on closer throughout his career. Had 20 saves for Houston last year. And the slider in the dirt. 1-2. Bud Norris started for Houston, went 6, allowed 3 runs, 10 hits. Mark Melancon pitched a hitless 7th. He's pitcher of record on the long side. Fernando Abad worked a third of an inning, gave up a hit and a walk, but then Jose Valdez struck out Justin Turner and made the tag at the plate to keep the Mets from tying the game in the 8th. 1-2 to Reyes. And another breaking ball in the dirt, 2-2. 31-year-old Brandon Lyon from Salt Lake City. Well, Reyes has worked his way back into the count. 3 hits tonight. Reyes has his average up to .321. 2-2 from Lyon. Pulled toward the hole. Base hit. And Jose Reyes has his 4th hit of the night, and the tying run is aboard. Well, Reyes has been hitting the ball in the air lately. Not tonight.
Slider in, and a good slider. Jose turns on it. Hardly any stride by Jose. And just out of the reach of Matt Downs.
Mercedes-Benz Ultimo brought to you by your tri-state dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com. Now would you run Reyes here rather than bunting him over?
Yes. He feels like he can get a jump.
He has 2 steals tonight. 1 in the first inning and 1 in the third.
And he's run both times early in the count.
Tolley is 0 for 4 tonight. Flied out deep to left. A nice catch by Carlos Lee his last time up. The third baseman creeping in. Tolley shows bunt and bunts it in the air. And the Lions got it throw to first, and he doubles him off. Oh, no. Terry Collins can hardly believe his eyes. Pagan thrown out at the plate to end the 8th. And now Tolley pops up the bunt, and Reyes is doubled off first base. The second baseman, Matt Downs, creeping in behind Reyes, who didn't seem to realize it. And just like that, the Mets are down to their final out.
Oh, my word. This is like a horror movie.
So it's left to David Wright with 2 out and nobody on. David has walked twice tonight, struck out twice, 0 for his last 18. And he takes low and away 1-0. David has just 1 hit in 8 career at bats against Brandon Lyon. But that 1 hit was a home run. .1-0 from Lyon, and it's wide, 2-0. Mets would give anything to get Carlos Beltran to the plate, as well as he is swinging the bat right now. And David knows it. He has a 2-0 advantage.
Lyon did a good job of getting rid of that ball quickly to double up Reyes.
Mm. 3-0. Well, part of it's on Reyes, of course, but part of it's also on Tolley popping up the bunt attempt. Tough night for Josh, who went 0 for 5. So now it's 3-0 to Wright.
And he takes all the way, a strike, 3-1. David with 2 home runs on the year. Beltrano has 3 hits tonight on deck. (3-1) from Brandon Lyon. And Wright swings and drives one to right. Hunter Pence is there. And the ball game is over. And the Mets, in excruciating fashion, lose for the 9th time in their last 10 games and lose their 7th straight home game at Citi Field as the Mets find a way to fall by a run.
Well, 2 plays late. It could have been a Met win. The pass ball on the strikeout, on a wild pitch on the strikeout. Pagan did the right move, tried to score from third, made the slide home, did not touch home plate, was called out, and then of course the double play in the 9th inning. So it's something new every night. Just glaring mistakes the Mets have made, and that's picture right there says 1,000 words.
R.A. Dickey suffers the loss after becoming the first Met to go 8 innings this year. However, he gave up the leadoff home run to Hunter Pence in the top of the 8th inning that snapped a 3-3 tie after Daniel Murphy's home run had tied it for the Mets in the 6th. So the heartache just keeps on coming for the Mets, who fall to 5-13 on the year, as the Astros take the first 2 of this series, winning tonight 4-3 as you look at the Chase game summary. Back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.